Today on Public Eye News, families of the Oxford school shooting victims lose their appeal over the school's liability. And later, a judge rules in favor of the family of Cameron Lamb, who was shot in his backyard by police.
Bianca Kroll will have your weather forecast for the next couple of days, and later, Bradley Seaborg has today's sports breakdown. I'm Beck Burley.
And I'm Liam Yulin-Joy. This is Public Eye News. The Michigan Court of Appeals has ruled in favor of the Oxford School District in a lawsuit attempting to hold employees partly responsible for a mass shooting there in 2021. The appeals court affirmed a lower court's decision. It said that while staff had expressed concerns about shooter Ethan Crumbley having a meeting with his parents the day of the tragedy, it was Crumbley himself who made the, quote, definite and premeditated decision, end quote, to take a gun to Oxford High School. A law firm representing the Oxford family says their next move is to ask the Michigan Supreme Court for an appeal. Crumbley is currently serving a life sentence in prison. And the Biden administration has announced over $3 billion in funding for 25 projects in 14 states. The goal? To increase domestic production of advanced batteries and other elements of electric vehicles. It's part of a continuing effort to challenge China's economic dominance in these sectors. White House economic advisor Lael Brainerd said China has cornered the market for processing and refining key minerals and has also come to dominate battery production, leaving the U.S., its allies, and its partners vulnerable. The grants are part of a second round of EV battery funding attached to the bipartisan infrastructure law passed in 2021.
A Dickinson County man extradited from California faces multiple sexual assault charges against 2 minors. Trent McWilliams, 23 of Norway, who is most recently residing in California, has been extradited back to Iron Mountain, Michigan to face 7 felony accounts of sexual assault. McWilliams is accused of sexually assaulting a child at a relative's residence in 2018 and was charged with 1 count of second-degree criminal sexual conduct and 1 count of accosting a child for immoral purposes this July. The defendant has also been charged with 3 counts of third-degree criminal sexual conduct and 2 counts of fourth-degree criminal sexual conduct in February of 2024. For allegedly sexually assaulting a 14-year-old girl in a vehicle in October of 2022. McWilliams will next appear before Judge Julie Lacoste in the 95B District Court on October 2nd at 11:30 a.m. And applicants are being accepted for the team-led traffic safety campaign for Strive for a Safer Driver, a program that instructs safe driving practices and allows fellow drivers to exchange life-saving information. The joint efforts between the Michigan Office of Highway Safety and Ford Philanthropy aim to reduce the leading cause of death for teens, automotive accidents. Last year, there were 490,000 licensed drivers between the ages of 15 and 20, representing 7% of Michigan's drivers, but accounting for 10% of drivers in crashes, with risky behavior and inexperience among the chief concerns attributed to teen driver fatalities. Downstate at Lake Michigan College, a new course is being offered that's turning heads and tipping glasses. WSBT reporter Nick Outoff has more. Take a look.
The harvest wine season has many Michigan residents heading to local vineyards. A program at Lake Michigan College is providing that same opportunity.
The weather's been really warm and dry, so that moves the ripeness along very quickly.
Lake Michigan College Wine and Viticulture Technology Program has created a trade-style program for students to learn more about the wine industry. The program offers 3 semesters of classroom, lab, and tasting room styles of learning. If you are under 21, you can still be part of the program.
Our student population is really diverse. We have traditional college students that are 18 to 22. They're learning about wine kind of in a different way because they're a little underage, but they're mostly interested in the viticulture, so growing the vines out in the vineyard.
The types of wine made in the program blend from all different regions around the world. From various red wines to all different white wines, students are becoming familiar with many variety of grapes. Godfrey says this course translates directly into industry experience.
So when students start in the fall, they're usually with each other for the whole journey. So in the fall, they're learning winemaking, as it's winemaking season, it's harvest. In the winter, they're learning a lot about the chemistry because we're kind of finishing wines and putting them into bottle. In the summer, they're learning a lot about viticulture and hospitality because that's the growing season and then the busy season in the tasting rooms here as well.
Since the program began in 2019, Godfrey says he's seeing more and more students each year. The wines created at Lake Michigan College are sold to the public in the taste room, allowing students to practice speaking about wines with customers. Godfrey says wine drinkers should embrace the months of the harvest season.
It's kind of interesting because, Winemaking is it is a year-round activity, but these 3 months, September, October, November, is when all the really fun action is happening. So it's a great time to come not only here, but to come to all your local tasting rooms and support all the wineries here in the Lake Michigan shore.
The tasting room is open to the public on Fridays and Saturdays during the day at Lake Michigan College. In Benton Harbor, I'm Nick Outhoff, WSBT 22 News.
Now don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with your weather and national news after this break. Stay tuned.
No world is truly unchanging.
This is nature at its absolute finest.
Our daughter, she's gone missing. I should leave this alone.
But you won't.
He's doing things no one had ever done before, and that is astounding.
It's absolutely mind-boggling.
Welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm Bianca Kroll, and here's our weather forecast for today. Looking at the roof cam here on campus, it's looking pretty cloudy out on campus, so we're looking forward to some more chillier weather coming up. Looking across the UP over here, starting off in Houghton, it is 77 and mostly sunny. In Ironwood, 74 and partly cloudy. In Iron Mountain, 78 and partly cloudy. And Menominee, 74 and partly cloudy. Moving on to the other side of the UP over here. In Escanaba, it is 72 and cloudy. Manistee, 71 and cloudy. Sault Ste. Marie, 72 and partly cloudy. And then Marquette here, 74 and partly cloudy. Looking further into those current conditions, the winds are west-northwest at 8 miles per hour with a barometric pressure of 29.70 inches and falling. And looking at tonight's conditions, it's going to be cloudy with the low of 57 and the winds west-northwest at 5 miles per hour with the moon phase of a waning gimbus. And looking at tomorrow's conditions, it's going to be partly sunny with a high of 80 and a low of 57 with the winds south-southwest at 11 miles per hour. And looking more into those conditions in the week, Sunday it's going to be a high of 63, cloudy with a low of 52. Monday going to be a high of 63, partly cloudy and a low of 49. And Tuesday is going to be a high of 66, partly cloudy and a low of 51. That is all I have for the weather forecast. Now back to the desk.
Well, thank you for that weather update, Bianca. Speaking just for myself, I'm looking forward to those cooler conditions. But now it's time for your national news, starting with this. U.S. District Judge Beth Phillips has partially sided with the family of a black man who was fatally shot by a white Kansas City, Missouri police detective. Her ruling was that now imprisoned officer Eric DeValconaire violated 26-year-old Cameron Lamb's Fourth Amendment protection against unreasonable search and seizure. DeValconaire entered Lamb's property in 2019 without a warrant or other legal reason to be there. However, Phillips declined to make an immediate decision on any damages in the wrongful death case against the Kansas City Police Board and DeValconaire, or to issue a summary judgment on the family's claim that the ensuing shooting amounted to excessive force. And the European Union has pledged to lend Ukraine up to 35 billion euros, or $39 billion, to help the country rebuild its economy and power grid. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said the EU has already provided Ukraine with more than 118 billion euros or $132 billion in aid since February 2022. She said that, quote, Russia's relentless attacks mean further support is necessary, end quote. The new loans will be underwritten by profits earned from frozen Russian assets held in EU nations like Belgium. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said he will focus on rebuilding Ukraine's energy network, building bomb shelters, improving schools, and buying weapons and ammunition. And with 46 days remaining on the campaign trail, each candidate is ramping up their efforts to secure the nation's vote. CBS correspondent Jared Hill has more information. Take a look.
Vice President Kamala Harris returned to Battleground, Michigan last night for a rally that resembled Oprah Winfrey's old talk show.
Time to step up.
In front of a live audience and streamed on social media, Harris talked to swing state voters about topics like gun control.
I'm in favor of the Second Amendment, and I'm in favor of assault weapons bans, universal background checks, red flag laws,
and abortion rights. The vice president speaking with the family of Amber Thurman, a pregnant woman who died in 2022. ProPublica says it was likely due to delayed medical care related to Georgia's abortion ban.
You're looking at a mother that is broken.
Amber's story highlights the fact that among everything that is wrong with these bans and what has happened in terms of the overturning of Roe v. Wade, it's a healthcare crisis.
We're going to defeat Kamala Harris. We're going to take back our country.
In Washington, D.C., former President Donald Trump promised to be Israel's protector as he courted Jewish American voters.
If I do win, Israel will be safe and secure, and we will stop the toxic poison of anti-Semitism from spreading all over America and all over the world.
Trump also threatened to yank federal support from colleges that support pro-Palestinian protests.
We'll be back after this break with your sports update. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. I'm Bradley Seaborg, and this is your Public Eye Sports Update. Starting off with baseball, Shohei Ohtani launched 3 home runs last night to become the first MLB player with 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases in a single season. Ohtani went 6 for 6 with 3 homers, 2 doubles, a single, and 2 stolen bases to propel the Dodgers to a 20-4 rout of the Miami Marlins and clinch their spot in the playoffs for the 12th consecutive season. Japanese Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshimasa Hayashi opened his Friday press conference by congratulating Ohtani, who has become the Japanese national icon since he debuted in the major leagues in 2018. The Dodgers have 9 games left in the season for Ohtani to take the record even higher, starting tonight against a struggling Colorado Rockies squad. Staying on the baseball diamond, the AL wildcard race is heating up, with the Twins losing to the Guardians last night, pushing the Tigers, now tied with the Twins, for the final wildcard spot. The Tigers begin their 3-game road series against the Orioles tonight, facing off against Baltimore's ace Corbin Burns. This will be the Tigers' final road trip of the season, with their final 6 games coming at home. For the Twins, they start their series against the playoff hopeful Boston Red Sox, who sit just 4 games back of the wild card. The Twins hold the tiebreaker over the Tigers with a 7-6 regular season head-to-head record, meaning the Tigers will need at least 1 game ahead to clinch a playoff berth. And finishing off with NMU football, the Wildcats take on the Alma College Scots in this year's homecoming matchup. The Wildcats will look to turn around their 0-3 start to the season against their final Division III opponent. The Cats are one of the youngest teams in the nation, with 70% of the roster made up of underclassmen. Alma, on the other hand, is coming off their best season in school history last year, reaching the 3rd round of the Division III tournament for the first time. The 16th-ranked Scots are coming off a win against Denison last week, and so far this season they averaged 36 points and 431 yards a game. The 2 teams will face off this Saturday at 1 p.m. in the Superior Dome. That's all I've got for sports. Back to Beck and Liam at the news desk.
Well, thank you for that sports update, Brad. I'm pretty excited to see what these teams have in station for us later on in the season. Although I must say I'm not the biggest baseball fan, I am excited to see what kind of energy the fans bring to the stadium.
Absolutely. But I hear you've got another story for us today, Beck?
Absolutely, Liam. And music enthusiasts, save the date. The NMU Jazz Ensemble's first performance will take place at Reynolds Recital Hall at 7:30 p.m. Monday the 30th, marking their first concert of the fall 2024 season. Mike Flaherty will be directing the jazz band, with Patrick Booth leading the jazz combo. The event is free and open to the public.
That's just so cool. I'm really looking forward to maybe potentially going to this. I do need to check my schedule to make 100% sure, but this is the type of event that's right up my alley.
Absolutely. You're an opera, aren't you, Liam?
Yes, recently I have been listening to opera. It's a whole thing. I'm in the Quiz Bowl team, so I like to know, who's composed different operas, and in the course of that research I've been listening to them. But jazz is definitely awesome as well, so I'd like to go to this event. Music of all kinds is great. But that's all the time we have left for Public Eye News today. I'm Liam Euland-Joy.
And I'm Beck Brearley.
And we'll see you next time.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.